right, we are live. I gotta kill the music. I didn't even kill the music. All right, we are live with A to Z. Welcome back. It's Sunday, March the 2nd. And we're in the studio with my guy, Ali. What's going on, man?
What's
How
up,
you
man?
been?
How you feeling?
Feeling great, bro. Ready to get the show going this morning. It's an
All
exciting
right.
day. We have our first guest.
Yeah,
Have a
this is
first
gonna be
guest in the building.
awesome.
Yeah, man. So A to Z, as you know, two guys, two Marines, two fathers, two husbands, just sharing stories that interest us and hope they interest you as well. And we have a guest on today with us, a teacher here in the Oregon district. I'm proud to and excited to have her on, my wife of 25 years, Jamie Stanley. And we're going to bring her to the stage real early and get right to it. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Good morning.
Hey,
Good
Jamie.
morning.
Good. Thanks for being here today. We wanted to have Jamie on today and talk about teachers and what's going on with the education system. If you've been following the news the past month or so, you know there's a lot going on. People losing jobs. The education system has been strained for decades, as we know. Ali, your wife is a teacher.
Yes,
My
she
wife is
is.
a teacher as well. So, you know, that's a profession that we both hold near and dear to our hearts. And we want to discuss what's going on in the school system. And Jamie has been a teacher for over 2 decades in multiple states. And we just want to get her perspective of how she's been affected by these changes, what things that she sees going on, the experiences that she has with her friends, and how that's affecting them and their relationships with their family and students as well. So, Jamie, welcome to the stage. Ali, you want to chime in before we get going?
Yeah, just a little bit. Now, I don't know if we're going to be touching on No Child Left Behind and Common Core and all that other stuff. But if you do get in there, I got some questions and about that and how you think when Donald Trump jumped in. This is later. If we don't touch it, we don't touch it. But it's how Donald Trump jumped in and put that lady over the educational system.
Oh,
See if that is part of effect of what you're talking about.
All right. That sounds good, Ali. I like it. So, Ali, I'm sorry, Jamie, you have the stage. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you and why you're here today.
Okay, well, thanks for having me on. Good morning. I have been in education in various capacities for the last 26 years. I've worked high school all the way down to the elementary level. Spent about 5 years in special education.
Thank you.
Like you said, I've been teaching over 2 decades, so I've seen different laws be created and different things change over those years. And I think where we are at this point is probably the lowest that we've been in our education system.
Wow. Okay.
As far as No Child Left Behind, Rod and I were talking about that this morning, and the lack of retention. I don't know what Nevada schools do anymore. I don't think it's universal across the board. I know there are some states that still retain. I don't really believe in the No Child Left Behind Act because we have kids that are in 5th grade, 6th grade that can't read. And that's a problem. And out here in Oregon, I can't speak for Nevada, but we used to have a reading and writing exit exam to get out of high school. And they recently did away with that about a year ago. So our seniors that are graduating don't have to take that test anymore. Don't have to prove that they're literate and that they can write. So
do you think there's a lot of kids who are graduating who would be unable to pass that test?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And do you think that because of like a lot of people are mad because the DEI has been canceled, that does not benefit the students that are coming out now that can't read and write? Do you understand what I don't know if I said that clearly.
No, can you kind of expand on that a little bit? Because when I hear DEI, it doesn't really have any relevance to me in education necessarily at my level. Maybe at the high school level it would, but at the elementary level it doesn't.
Okay, well then what I was thinking of was because it's like DI is allowing people to get jobs that I feel that some people should not, that they don't qualify for. With the way the educational system is made now, like you said, there's still some places where fifth graders can't even read. Though that's still going to trickle all the way up to high schooler, where high schoolers come out, they don't know how to write too well. They don't know how to speak. They don't know how to do a lot of stuff, but then they're going to be put into a situation to where DEI is there, right? And we need this person to fit our quota, so let's bring them in here anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if that affects the way you are thinking for the future of your student.
No, I don't really. I teach in our demographic here in Oregon, as you know, is we have very little color here in Oregon. So we tend to, well, I want to be careful with what I say. So I think what you're saying is it going to hurt the colored students as they get further along in their education? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just talking about as far as the quality of people we have here in America. I can give a damn about the person's color.
No, I don't think so. Not from what I've seen. I think that DEI aside, we hire people that are not qualified to be in education, period. It doesn't even matter who they are. We have a huge deficit in creating educators that are educated in what they do. I mean, we have random people that can come in and fill classrooms for months at a time that don't have a college education, that are freshly out of high school.
Could you provide some examples of what you're talking about, so people really understand what's going on inside the schools in terms of hiring teachers or people who are teaching the students that may not be qualified? Are you able to speak on that?
So we had a really big push after COVID. For whatever reason, we had I'm guessing it was because of the vaccines, that we had a large amount of teachers that were qualified, highly qualified teachers that were pushed out of education because of their refusal to get the COVID vaccine. So after that, in the state of Oregon, we had what was called an emergency licensure opportunity, and they dropped the need for people to have a college degree. So what that meant for us was, you were in the classroom at some point, Rod. You didn't have an education background. You were able to come in and teach, but we have people who are not qualified that are getting paid full salaries, that have not been to college, that have not been through the exit exams to become a teacher, that have not done their practicum, that haven't done any of that in the classroom, who are able to teach our kids. And that's a big problem.
Awesome. Okay. So then that's a pretty common thing that you're seeing there. Trying to figure out how to get this. I can get it side by side there. Okay, that looks better. So you see a lot of teachers who are coming in not qualified to teach the kids, and now that they're in the classroom, what is going on with the students? So they're not qualified. What's going on with class management? Or are they qualified to even teach the curriculum? Are they able to manage the classroom properly? What kind of things are you seeing at your level that you might want the parents to be aware of?
Well, no, they're not qualified. I mean, we had a 19-year-old at the beginning of this school year that came and did a long-term sub position for 3 months. No classroom management, didn't know the curriculum, didn't know the ins and outs of education. Like, if a kid brought a knife, what was the proper reporting procedures? I mean, they didn't know safety protocols. They didn't know the confidentiality that came along with that. So you don't necessarily get taught that in college. That comes with doing your practicum, doing your student teaching experience, and and that's a big problem. Safety has always been, a major priority for me. And when we have these people that come in that don't know basic safety procedures, it's not something you can just teach them on the fly. And so a lot of them come in and don't know. They don't know what the rules are.
So are they not knowing anything about rubrics and all that other stuff that y'all
No.
supposedly? They don't
You're
know
talking about a 19-year-old who's 1 year removed from high school, who
Right.
you are putting into a fourth grade position that has never managed 25 plus kids. It's a warm body.
So a long time ago, it wasn't too long ago, but people were saying that now you just are glorified babysitters.
Babysitter, yeah.
Do you think that had some kind of, because I think it did. I really believe that, because people kept saying that over and over and over again, teachers are just glorified babysitters and stuff like that, that it allowed for this situation to happen, like to build up to where they don't have qualified people, and now, and with the No Child Left Behind, if you don't have any child left behind, the whole process of teaching and education, you don't need actual teachers if everybody has got to pass. If they're dropping the, with Common Core, if they instead of pushing everybody up higher, right, they're bringing everybody down to a lower common. You don't need a highly educated, highly skilled teachers. So now you have those babysitters. Is there any, I know this is early in the conversation, but I just want to get this out here, get the energy going. Do you see any way to improve on this? Like, is there a way a single teacher can say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure these children are educated properly.
That's a great question, Ali. And before you answer that one, Jamie, I want to have you answer this one first, because I think it'll segue really great with what Ali said. And that's people are saying that teachers are babysitters. What is it like being an actual teacher in the classroom, and what are you experiencing on a day-to-day basis in terms of, how much help you're receiving on actually managing your class, how well you can do your job, and then go on to like maybe tell us, what do you see as a fix for that?
Well, you've been in my classroom. You were in my classroom a couple of times.
Yeah.
How did you feel? Did you feel like, as a sub, you feel more like a glorified babysitter than anything, because you're not really teaching anything. You're a warm body in the classroom for that day.
Yeah, that felt very much like babysitting.
When I hear that term glorified babysitter, it's offensive. I have 30 kids in my class. I have very rigorous demands that I have to meet at the end of each semester. I'm very heavily scrutinized for what I do, but my way of teaching is I don't teach the curriculum. I think it's dumb. I think we teach kids things that are not important in life. So I don't believe in Common Core. I believe in getting back to the way that I was brought up in school, the basic, the multiplication, the division, the adding, the subtracting, the balancing a checkbook. But we teach kids so many things that are just not important. So I try to kind of balance that with social skills, curriculum. I follow it loosely, but we don't really have a guide on what to teach. We know we have to teach certain things by the end of the year, but there's no map that tells us really what we need to do.
So you have 30 different kids from all grade level. What are the kids like? What's the makeup of the kids? There's 30 kids, but are they all the same level? With this Common Core. So what's that like with the children?
No, and they're not on the same level because of No Child Left Behind. So, for years they wanted to blame it on COVID, but it really started before COVID we were just pushing these kids through that couldn't pass. So it's a compounded effect of No Child Left Behind, plus the lack of education during those 2 years of COVID. So when I get them in 5th grade, they're supposed to have, X, Y, and Z completed. But of course, the teachers in the previous years didn't teach that. So then it kind of falls on me to get them ready for the next year, even though that's not part of my job. But I can't teach anything else if they don't know that. So it becomes this, constantly trying to catch up to where we need to be. And I have to meet them where they're at a lot of times. So it's impossible to follow a curriculum for 5th grade when you have kids on a kindergarten and 1st grade level.
Yeah, I remember back when you was here in Vegas. I know that there was a lot of teachers that I have respect for teachers. 100% I have respect for them. I'm married to one. So, and I'm married to one who cares. So I understand that when I said that a lot of people are saying, glorified babysitter, I know that's disrespectful, especially to a teacher that cares. And I didn't mean it in any type of way other than this conversation. And just to get it out there. But like you was just saying, you said that by the time they reach 5th grade, there's teachers that are in between, maybe the warm bodies. A lot of people leaving. You got a lot of substitutes that are coming in. You got new teachers that are getting paid more money, which you didn't mention yet, but getting paid more money than the actual teachers who are in love with the job. And that is their passion. That is their goal, to educate Americans. You know what I mean? Maybe not so much Americans, just people in general, but educate Americans. How inside of the schools, and you don't have to get real specific, but how frustrating is that to know that you have to be the one to build on stuff that 3 other grade levels missed, to get them functioning in 6th grade?
Well, sadly, my job in 5th grade is not typically educational based. I have kids that are homeless. I have kids that are being raised by grandparents. I have kids that have special needs. So I try to cater to all those kids. So I mean, I don't know if your wife talks about it. I'm a therapist. I'm a caregiver. I'm a nutritionist. I make a lot of decisions throughout the day. So sometimes we'll go hours without even teaching anything, because we talk about things like, effects of social media. We talk about dress code. We talk about, things that are happening in the real world. So I feel like those are more beneficial conversations than the things that I'm teaching. I don't always teach the curriculum the way that I should, but I can't. And I hate to say this, but it falls on the parents too. If your child has a deficit and not knowing their multiplication, they're not working with them at home. They're putting them on their gaming systems and getting them out of their hair. So they're not killing and drilling them and making sure that they can read. I don't think I have one parent in my classroom that reads to their kids in 5th grade. That's me. I have to read everything to them. I make sure they get all of the exposure to different kinds of literature, banned books. I give that to them.
And it seems like there's very, with this type of classroom makeup, with all of the different things that the children are facing at home, the lack of being where they need to be in school, it creates a situation that almost seems like a no-win for you, especially with the support. What type of support are you getting from administration to be able to help bridge these gaps that these children are facing, not only in the classroom, but even at home? Is there any outlets for teachers? Like, what's that like?
Well, I want to add one more thing. So when our son was little, we made sure he was at the best schools. I mean, being an educator, I wanted him to have that perfect foundation. And we always moved where we could live in the areas that were zoned for the best schools in Las Vegas at that time, to give him that good foundation, because those classrooms operate very differently because they have more money than the classroom that I'm teaching in now. The demographic area is migrant workers, farmers. They don't have money, and they rotate through the school district. So it's really hard. You know, we don't have the funding, of course. We never have the money to give them what they need. So when you have kids in much more affluent areas, which we've always done that for our kid because we know that's where the money is. But when you don't have that, it's very unfair, right? But that's just the way that it is. So back to your question. I think my principal has been in my classroom one time this school year. One time. And that wasn't even as a temperature check as to how things are going. That was something completely unrelated to my teaching. I've never been observed this year. I don't have any instructional aid support. I have 30 kids and I have no support. So all of those kids that are struggling, that are below 5th grade level, which is more than half of my class, where do they go? How do they teach them? And then last year I had a 4th and 5th grade together. So imagine having 2 curriculums and then being faced with those problems and not having the time to teach them. We don't have the money. Our school doesn't have the money. We don't get the support. But the more affluent areas, they have the money, they get the support, hence the better outcomes you're going to get for those kids.
Is that common in your area, or is
absolutely
it just like it is? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I ask and I'm denied every time. Well, what am I supposed to do? Well, I don't really have that answer.
So when you're when you're dealing with the parents, right? When you're dealing with the parents, and you're telling them, hey, well, you need to get more active in your child's life or whatever. And how are they, or is there like a language barrier? Is it a cultural barrier? Or is all the parents, which it doesn't seem like they are, but are the parents like, oh yeah, okay, we'll help. We'll do everything that we can do. And you just don't see that the parents are helping. Maybe the parents are not intelligent enough to teach them themselves, maybe.
Okay, well, that's a long question. So let me try to unpack it for you.
Yeah. I do that sometimes.
let me think of the easiest way to unpack it for you. Right. If I can get parents to get in front of me to have conversations about their kids, that's one thing. Now, I have kids in my class that are going to do great no matter what. No matter what, if I have parent support, they're just going to do good because they're self-motivated. So those are my kids at the top. My kids at the bottom who struggle are kids that have always struggled. They have parents that consistently do not care, do not show up to conferences, do not return emails. I've had a family since I've been in this district. I've had 4 siblings in 6 years. And every single one of those kids has been on an IEP, an individualized education plan. I've never had a conversation with the parents, not any of them. And those kids, the parents are migrant workers. There's no language barrier, but those kids are in school to get enough knowledge to be migrant workers, to be family caregivers, because a lot of them are taking care of other children at home. So education's not a priority. Education, that's when I become a glorified babysitter for those parents. I need my kid to be somewhere for 6 hours Monday through Friday, that's where they're going to go.
Oh, wow.
So it's really interesting, like when you, like to Ali's point, like people say teachers are just glorified babysitters. They don't understand the nuances that's going on inside of these classrooms,
Right.
and all the different personalities and cultures and language and things that teachers are faced with. And it's a lot to handle, and it's stressful. And I know that's weighing on you as teachers, as individuals, and because you guys have families. You, like you mentioned, you have a child who's in school. Jamie, we have a child, and we're so that's stressful at home as well. Like, how are things going from a teacher's standpoint that you can hear from the other teachers around you, and how it's affecting their lifestyle at home and their families, and the ability to show up for their husbands and things like that?
Well,
and even in your life.
I think the main thing that plagues classrooms right now is behaviors.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that discipline falls solely on the parents, but it does. Parents control a lot of that. But unfortunately, when we could have hours of conversations. When we have kids that are misdiagnosed, that you have unqualified, uneducated teachers that don't know how to see those early warning signs early on, like in first and second grade, like, oh, this kid has a learning disability, or they have dyslexia, or when they're not able to catch that and they get to fifth grade, they have behaviors because they don't understand what's going on. They've been pushed through for so long. And if they're not able to have a conversation about something that I'm teaching, then we see a lot of behaviors, and then it becomes punitive. Then that child gets punished. They have detention there. And it's like, well, it's not their fault. They didn't get that support that they needed 2, 3, 4 years ago. And we have kids that are homeless that come to school for the food and the bathroom. And if they can sneak in a nap, great. I mean, I have a kid that sleeps in my classroom, and I'm fine with that because I know what his home situation is like. But how do I explain that to a superintendent that walks in and sees a kid sleeping and is like, what's going on? Like, hey, don't mess with that kid. He's homeless. They slept in the car last night. They didn't have heat. Like, leave them alone. And
Right.
A lot of teachers, they're not willing to let that go. Nope, you got to be up. You got to learn. And it's like, sleep is more important to them at this point, and I'm not gonna mess with that right now. That's not something that I'm willing to do. So when you talk about how does that affect my relationships, teacher burnout is real. I think I was burnt out the 3rd or 4th week of school because it's a lot of management. It's 30 different personalities. It's managing, how are they learning? What are their goals? How am I going to get them from 1st grade to 5th grade? I used to not be able to separate those two when I got home early on in my career, because I would just be on all the time, worried about, what was going on in school. Sorry, I think I forgot where I was going with this, but you said, how does it affect my relationship at home?
Yeah, exactly.
I think now it's easier, but at this point in the year now, we're kind of headed to wrapping up the school year, so it's really stressful because now it's like, okay, I have a handful of kids that are not going to meet their goals this year, and how do I explain that? So that is something that's in the back of my mind.
So you got are these children who came to you just, in this with 1st, 2nd grade knowledge at the beginning of the year? And I mean, it's an impossible task to catch all of these kids up
that have been at the same school since kindergarten.
Oh.
So It's like, why are we not looking at those teachers, grade levels below, and what they're teaching and what they're doing, and having interventions early on, because we've not ever had consistent intervention since I've been there in 6 years. They can't figure out what works. So every year
What
it's
do you mean
something
by an
different.
intervention? What do you mean by an intervention?
So when you have a child that is significantly below grade level, they need to be in an intervention group. So that's where you have to meet them where they're at. So in a 5th grade classroom, I'm not allowed to teach 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade material. I have to teach 5th grade material. So when I have kids that are not meeting those benchmarks, they should get pulled out to have that extra support in those levels where they have a deficit. And that's not happening.
Okay, so that right there is like a tool or a catalyst for teacher burnout, right?
Uh-huh.
I have had a friend, and I'm in like a couple. I'm not in a teachers group, but I got on my social media. I have teachers, and seen a teacher. She was talking. She was, I think, 15 years in, and she's really like, I need a new career. I need to get out. I'm like, man, you're old. You're old. You can't start a new career now because that's another 30 years before you can retire. You got to hang in there. I'm like, no, I don't want to hang in there because of all these things that you're saying. Now, this person is a single person. And as far as what kind of, I know for my wife, like as far as supporting her through her issues, because all teachers are having issues with pretty close to the same thing. Yours is on a different level because you're a higher. My wife is on a kindergarten, so it's like, still some issues. Now, as far as husband, some of the things that I see, I'm like, okay, well, here, you need some you time. So you go ahead and get you some you time, and you breathe and you get yourself gathered up. Now here's some us time. Here, let me go ahead and show you some love, give you some massages, rub you and stuff like that. Here, come here, talk to me, talk my ear off, talk to me about whatever, relieves your stress, right now. Do you think, I mean, I know that helps me in my relationship, and I'm pretty sure that helps her a little bit. I'm not saying a whole lot because I'm annoying, but like, what are some other things that could actually help with the relationships? Because it seems as if there's a lot of tension in the workplace for teachers, amongst other teachers. So how can the significant other, and if there's not a significant other, if you have an ideal about that, how can that person be helped? What are some ideals that you have that I could do to help ease some stress?
And I don't even think, I mean, I appreciate that you're a husband that wants to do that, but I think that it's really hard if you've never been in that situation. And what I mean, and respectfully, right? I'm not saying it can't happen, but I couldn't answer that question because I don't bring work home ever. I don't grade papers. I very rarely check emails. So when I come home, I'm home. I'm here for my kid. I'm here for my husband. I'm here for myself. I do need times that I need to decompress when I get home to just kind of get back into mommy mode and get back into wife mode. But I think, massages are great.
There we go.
As long as there's not always strings attached, though.
There's no strings. Who got strings?
No, I got you. That makes sense.
That
makes sense because there's a different type of relaxation. Yeah, I got you.
Taking your wife out, maybe for a walk or a coffee or gardening. I like spending a lot of time outside. doing yard work really relieves a lot of stress for me. So right now it's kind of hard because it's been raining for the last couple of months. So it's really easy to get bogged down in where is my outlet? Where do I relieve some of my stress? So coffee, I would absolutely love it if my husband brought me coffee to work once in a while to help. Just small things though.
Taking notes on that, I guess. Small things. All right, make a mental note.
There you go.
Yeah.
Massages.
I mean, one of the things I know personally is exercise reduces stress.
But that's always the last thing I want to do when I get home is exercise.
I understand.
After I've been standing all day.
Yeah, no, I will say this too. Let me say this one real quick. I for me personally, and this is, I shouldn't make this a personal thing, but it is. I'm sorry. So when I was in the Marine Corps, I didn't like anybody coming to my job. Even before the Marine Corps, it's like I had girlfriends and stuff. It was like, don't come to my job, don't come to my job. But because that's so implanted in my head, I don't like going to Vanessa's job. She does like me to go bring her lunch and all that other stuff, but I'm like, I don't even want to be here. Right. You know, I don't. And when she wants to come to my job, I'm like, don't come here. I'm working. You know what I mean? So for me, I do that, but that takes a whole lot of strength. Like I'm drained when I go to the store to go get some food. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta give me the sandwich. I gotta drive all the way over here to give you the sandwich. You know, I mean, it's really a hard thing for me to do that now. Now, mind you, it's easy for me to give you a massage. You know, not you, but my wife. You know what I'm saying? It's easy for me to do that. It's easy for me.
What do you mean it's hard to get a sandwich, bro? like it just takes. It's not. It's out of your normal thing, thing that you like to do.
I don't like going to school. I don't like going to people's jobs. But I know if I get the sandwich, I have to take it into the school. It's like pulling. It's like going to the dentist.
Okay, getting that sandwich. I could put you on that.
But I've been in school. I haven't gotten out of school. I came right back and I've been in school for another 26 years. So it's like, I've never gotten out. That's all I've known my entire life is going from high school to college to being in another school in a classroom for the last 26 years.
Yeah.
I've been in school my entire life.
You need to change it up. Time for a transformation this year.
Now, how long do y'all have there? Y'all have 30 years before you can get into like your retirement standard? 30
yeah,
years?
But I have 17 years vested in Vegas and I have six here. And when I taught in Virginia, I wasn't vested at all. So I have nothing. But yeah, 30 years here. I couldn't do 30 years.
Oh, so now for my education, you said you got 17 here in Vegas. You got 6 years there. Is that able to combine?
Yes, because the PERS system is the same. It's just Nevada PERS versus Oregon PERS.
Okay, that's my heart was starting to drop for you. I thought you had to start all over again with that 6.
No, but I don't really believe my pension will be there for me when I'm done. So I don't put a whole lot of stock into it.
Why is that? Because that's a different subject. Why is that?
I just don't think it'll be there. I think that'll be eliminated in the next couple of years, along with, other things that, yeah. So I've never relied on a pension.
Well, okay. Now you're thinking because of people thinking about, thinking about Donald Trump cutting, not just Donald Trump, but whatever future thing is cutting Social Security stuff, cutting certain benefits. Now, this is for me how I relieve those fears for other people, and it's because of the military. Now we have this thing where in the Marine Corps or military where you have 100% disabled. When I got my 100% disability, it's for the rest of your life. They got this new thing that they were proposing to where people get if they get 100% disability, they only get it for 10 years, right? So once that kicks in, if it does actually kick in, it doesn't affect anybody that has already got the for life. We will get grandfathered in to the for life thing, right? And then it will start at a specific time for those next 100%. And as far as the same thing goes with if Donald Trump does, he starts the tariffs and he does start cutting Social Security. Those people who already have Social Security are going to be grandfathered in. So those pensions are going to be grandfathered in. They're going to get theirs. But then once they figure out the age and all the times or whatever, they get that calculated. That's when it'll start. So those people are going to have to start saving money on their own to get whatever it is they need. I do feel that the teachers will be, actually not just teachers, but everybody that is at this point right now, if they are paying into FEARS, they are paying into Social Security, we're still going to get it. It's just when they do decide to stop, we're going to be grandfathered in. I don't think that's a fear that we should have. I think that's an unnecessary fear at this time. Later, if the shit changes, then it changes. But right now, everything is grandfathered in so far.
Well, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't trust that, if somebody says, oh, you're going to be grandfathered in, I mean, until I see it in writing, I don't trust it. So.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So, Jamie, is there anything else you want to talk about as far as a teacher's experience that you want to share that maybe we don't want to know? Anything else with relationships?
Well, Ali had asked, I think we've talked about a lot of different things, but how could we feel supported? I think more importantly, feeling supported at the school level and having fun, being able to have fun without, being reprimanded constantly. But also having the support.
At your school?
Huh?
There's fun police at your school? You guys can't have fun?
No, we can't have fun. I mean, we have fun in my room because it's just what it is. I mean, there are a couple of teachers that.
What do you mean?
There are some teachers that are just by the book and they're like, nope, no. We had a fight 2 weeks ago about allowing kids to have food and snacks, like snacks and drinks in the classroom. Like there were teachers that were like, nope, they're not allowed to have snacks and they're not allowed to have anything except for water. It's like we have the latest lunch in 4th and 5th grade. We don't go to lunch till 12 o'clock. They're in school at 8:30. Some of them don't get breakfast at home or don't eat breakfast. And we have some teachers that are like, nope, you can't have a snack. Nope, you can't have a drink other than water. And it's just
why they have breakfast at home, right? I'm sure they have breakfast or a snack.
Well, I got a question. Go ahead.
It's teachers like that is just like, why are you willing to die on that hill of you can't have food or drink in my classroom? Like we're trying to teach these kids to have some autonomy, and when they move over to 6th grade, it's very different. And when they move to high school, it's very different. They're allowed to eat and drink, and they used to be able to have cell phones, but they can't do that anymore. But yeah, we have teachers that are just so strict, and it's gross.
Now, is that because there's like a head teacher that says this is how the classes is going to be run, or is it something that a teacher can say, okay, well, y'all don't eat snacks. We're eating snacks. Because sometimes there's birthdays in people's classrooms and their parents want to celebrate, say, hey, I'm going to bring y'all guys apples and cake or whatever, cupcakes or cookies or whatever. But that's not happening in every single classroom. Is that something that you can say, okay, well, look, check out for our class on every Thursday or every Wednesday, Friday, y'all can bring some food in and we can have snacks, or you can do it every day. You can have snacks, but this is only in Mr. Child's classroom. Everybody else is just going to have to suffer. So go ahead and wave your.
Well, that's the way it is currently. That's the way it is currently. We have they can't make a decision. This is such an easy decision. They just can't make a decision. They've taken it to leadership several times, and nobody can agree on whether or not to allow food and drink in the classroom. I think when you're talking about kindergartners and first grade, they've always had snack because they're little, they're growing. There's no argument there, right? But you could take that same study further into third, fourth, and fifth grade when they need food to function. Like, their brains don't function unless they're being fed. So if they're not getting breakfast at home, or they're not eating for whatever reason, then absolutely, I'm going to give them food. I make sure I have snacks in my classroom. I ask for donations, and they're like, "Well, what if they get on the Chromebook?" Well, you have a conversation with the kids and say, "Hey, you can have food and drink in the classroom as long as it's away from your Chromebook. As long as your Chromebook is, over on the table away from it, or as long as you're being responsible. And this is how you're responsible. You're cleaning up after yourself. You're picking up your trash." And I have those conversations with my kids because I know they're capable. But the minute that I find a wrapper on the floor, they know it's done.
Right.
So I'm fine with it because for the most part, my kids respect our classroom enough and want to have that snack and learn and listen to music and have a drink. And it's like, why not? If that's going to help them, if that's something so simple that's going to help them learn and focus better, why wouldn't you do that?
Right. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
So,
yeah, so crazy.
And then I have an issue now. This is just my issue, and it's with everybody. It's with everybody, but I've seen it work with teachers. I don't know if you remember. This was like in 2019, 2018-ish. There was a community, a city that was the teachers were trying to get equal pay or something. They was trying to get something, and the union told them that they're not allowed to picket. They weren't allowed to picket. But then that whole city, from the people who do the food, the bus drivers, the teachers, the admin, everybody in the city boycotted. And it was for I'm using the wrong word, but they picketed, not boycotted, but they picketed, and the school shut down. So all the teachers and students and parents had to leave work and couldn't go to work because they had their children with them. And they did it for like a week. But like on the third day, it was national news. And then the unions was trying to tell the teachers and stuff to go back to school, but they didn't go back to school the next day. I think it was the fifth day, they got everything that they asked for. But that was a whole group of people, everybody standing on the same mission, and they actually got what they asked for. And there was nothing that anybody could do but give them what they wanted, or the whole city would be shut down because there was nobody to take the children. Now, my issue with that is because we have that example. Now, I didn't look for it many times so I could have the proper language about it and the dates and everything, but I can't find it. I can't even find the city where it was, but I know it was on the news because I seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It was on Facebook. It was everywhere. And I seen it, but I believe they're not showing it again or letting that information be out because they did create change, and it would unite a lot of teachers. What is one of the main things that you see that has nothing to do with people's pay that is causing teachers to not unite in that fashion?
Behavior, a lot of behaviors, a lot of lack of support. Just even us having to go to the restroom in the middle of the day, we can't get anybody to do that. So we don't have the support that we need. And I think that that's more important than pay. I mean, we're in a contract bargaining right now for our school, and it got very messy a couple of years ago when we did it, and everybody was talking about pay, and pay isn't even the biggest thing. I mean, it's nice, but I've been in education for 26 years, so I make a good amount of money. I'm not saying I make enough. I could always make more, but they were arguing things like how we were able to take our paid time off. And those things are important. We don't get enough days off. We don't get enough sick time. And out here they say, oh, well, you get 5 days for family leave, and then everything else is your sick leave, and then you have 3 days of paid time off for however you want to use it. So that was a huge argument. Our health insurance was a huge argument. So I would say those are probably the top 3 things that were and are really important, especially this year, is how we are given our time off, how our health insurance benefit. I mean, our health insurance is awful. We pay a lot of money. I pay $500 a month for a family of 3 for health insurance. And the district pays, I think, 1% of that, which is nothing. So that I know that's a huge thing for this year. And the supports for instructional assistants those are the 3 big pushes. But of course, they're going to ask for money because they feel like if teachers get paid more money, they'll be happier. And that's not true. We still have the same challenges, even if we're making $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
and we have people that are not qualified making brand new teacher salaries who are starting their pension and getting the full salary of a brand new teacher who have not been educated in that field.
Right. And that right there is really sad. So that's one of the things that I saw a long time ago happening. I was talking to Vanessa about it, how the United States government doesn't care about educating or the educators at all. They don't care about educating the American people. They only want to train us. And Barack Obama, I'm going to say this real quick, just in case you didn't know, but Barack Obama, when he had his very first State of the Union talk to everybody, when it got to the part of education, when they do foreign policy and all the other stuff, they have different topics. When he got to education, I paid attention to it because my wife is an educator and I want to be on the same page with her. And the whole time, this is what made me dislike Obama. The whole time he was having a speech, he never one time said, he never used the word educate. The whole time he used the word train. We have to train these people to fit the jobs that we created. And we can start training them from pre-K to college to fit these new positions. He never once said educated. So with that in mind, everything that you're saying right now, that we had a conversation to, is what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting people into these positions that don't care about the children. They're putting people that don't care about educating. They're putting people in these positions that are only focused on their money.
Mm-hmm.
They're putting people in these positions that just, hey, I need I want to be a part-time teacher. So they don't care about your profession. And I'm so sad about that. And I care about you guys. I care about you guys, and I wish there was something other than this podcast.
But we have people making education decisions who have never been in education.
Right.
Never been in education. They run businesses, and while education is a very profitable business, they don't know anything about education. So why are you making decisions for our education system?
And it's been a slow, steady progression. As we can see, education has been moved out and moved into training. It's more about how, And as it becomes more of a corporation, the education system is going to be more and more like about money, just like most corporations are. And they're moving the education out of the teacher's hands and putting it more into, like they're doing everything else, automation, which is very profitable.
Mhm.
And that's what we're moving to, a way that we can train people that's more profitable. And we're just going through the transition phase. And it's quite sad because people are stressed out. The children are losing out. The teachers are losing out. And our society is losing out.
Yes.
The community is losing out. And so that's just it. So it's going to be up to us having these conversations so that we can really expose what's happening within the classrooms, so that we can move beyond this concept of teachers are just babysitters into realizing there are people who in there who really want to educate these children. Maybe it's going to have to be something outside of this system that we create. Maybe this is a catalyst for it, but something needs to be done because
I also
go for it,
believe
Jenny.
too that I've seen it in my own child that kids are going to learn from teachers that they like. And when I figured out many years ago how to do that, it changed everything. It made my life a lot easier when I had kids that liked me and enjoyed coming to school because I know their language. I know, from having my own kid, I know how to relate to them. I know all of the buzzwords. I know all of the social things that are going on. And so they're coming to a place where they can feel at home, they can be themselves, they can act. They don't have to fit into the box that everybody else wants them to fit into. And they learn more. They walk away learning things. They're like, oh, you just taught us something and I didn't even realize you taught us something. And it sticks with them forever. And so when you have that ability to do that, I cannot speak for kindergarten. That is one grade I have not ever wanted to step into. But it's like the play phase. When you're playing with your kids, they want to come back and they want to play more. So once you've figured that out, it makes a difference.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Well, we got to get ready to wrap it up. It's been a great conversation with you, Jamie.
Yes,
You've really shed
Thanks
some
for
light
having
on
me.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in, being our first guest. It was really fun. We'd love to have you back, and we can go explore more topics, go a little bit deeper on some of the things that are the
Well,
children that you're
I'm
facing.
ready for that intimacy topic when you guys are ready for it. So maybe we'll hit that another time.
I tried to get into it today.
Z.
I'm like, how's it affecting your relationships? And you went back to the classroom. So it's all good. We'll get it next time. Ali, you want to hit him with something before we get out of here?
Oh no, but this is A to Z, so be prepared for anything. If you want to talk about it, talk about it. That's what we do here. Doesn't matter whether it's Barack Obama, whether it's AIDS and syphilis. I don't know. We can talk about it if we know something about it.
Let's do it for sure. Well, thanks for joining. For those of you out here, we'll be back live next Sunday at 9 a.m. Join the conversation. Don't be a stranger if you jump into the video. See you next time. We're out. A to Z.
Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
All right, big dog.
That was pretty cool.